welcome guys to another episode of Muay Thai Save Me, and I have my business partner here, Neil Yang. Did I say it right?
Never.
Yang.
You never say it right.
Yang.
Yun.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I got a little bit of an accent, they say. It's an American accent,
It's like a country accent.
Anyways, welcome everybody. We have some great topics today. We have a lot of things we had going on in the last 60 days, but nevertheless, we've still been pushing out, this great podcast. We've had an amazing amount of great members coming on board, sharing their stories, your trip, moving into this location, moving our podcast here to Glendale. So it's been pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
so
it has. It's really cool. If you guys don't know, our second location, we opened up in Glendale, literally like about just a little over 30 days ago. And we're right in the heart of downtown Glendale, like a block and a quarter walk to the Glendale Galleria, maybe a block and a half to the Americana. So we're right in the heart of Glendale. It's a beautiful city.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
You know what was cool? Because we just had the fights a couple days ago with David and Martine, and we'll tap into that in a little bit. But seeing our Glendale members was dope.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that was awesome because I saw a couple of them repping, being in the front, and just being part of the culture, and then mingling with our members from North Hollywood who they haven't met each other. So I thought that was cool. I thought that was a game changer, like a milestone for us, just because for us it's all community, So
it was funny. I was talking with Kim, I think like a week ago, and when we hosted the Thirsty Thursdays here at Glendale for the first time, and just seeing when we do our MTK Creed and how the Glendale people are just loving it. They're just screaming it out, winning, MTK, and they're like they're becoming a part of us, and I love that. And then seeing them intertwine with the NoHo members too, it's so cool. Yeah. It's the coolest thing ever.
It's dope. And it's crazy because, we talked about this in the beginning of opening one location, let alone, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all that and going on. Yeah. But it's definitely, from what we've heard from our mentors and other people who have multiple locations, of this is the 2 and 3 are the ones that are really going to test us. 2, just because we're still kind of going back and forth. And 3 is like, 2 is going to teach us how to run it for the most part without us.
Yeah.
And then 3, like, you can't jump to 3 unless you have a system.
That's right.
Right, you know what I mean? Which I feel very proud of our team and our girls, and I'm proud of Kim and Jen, just for the simple fact that the system in the front works the same either or, you know what I mean? So that doesn't change, and that's been working great. And I know we're tuning up with the trainers, just because the simple fact, they are going back and forth and everything. But even that itself is falling into place, you know what I mean? And on top of that, doing construction, running classes, and what a lot of people don't know is that when we moved in here, we bought an existing gym. And from what I've heard, when you buy a company or when you get a second location, you do a build out. So it's not like, you get time, like, we're going to be closed. We never got to close.
No.
We painted while the classes were going on. We ran classes without mats. We did everything and stayed open. So that transition was like, it never closed, you know what I mean? Because we wanted to make sure that whoever was the existing members for the previous gym got to experience us. And, we wanted to bring value to them. And, we didn't want to close, which I thought for itself was a challenge for us. But I'm glad that we did it because, one, it's experience, you know what I mean? It gives us the experience if we ever do buy out another gym. And then 2, it's just, when we buy a place that wasn't a gym, I think that it would give us that sharp edge because we were putting so much pressure to build in, to get everything we needed to get, that the connections we did, everything from the mats to like the bags to everything that we did, like cameras, whatever it is, it was like we moved on it and we executed fast.
I think that's honestly what sets us apart from our competition and other gyms. Big shout out to them as well, what they're doing. But I just think that's what separates us apart, because we're willing to do those things. We're willing to do what others aren't willing to do. A lot of people, I think, would have freaked out in that situation. Well, wait, we don't get a build out time? Well, you know what? We're not going to take this offer then. And me and you were like, no, let's do it. We didn't. There was not a worry in our tone of voice.
Yeah.
We shared it with the girls, like, and they got excited. You know, we shared with our members, we're going to be opening up a second. They were really ecstatic. I love that. And I love that about our partnership, buddy, is just that we're not afraid to take those risks, you know, and without risk, there's no reward, right? So.
And you know, it's funny to me more than anything when people are like, "Oh, cool, you're opening. So when is it opening up?" And I would be like, "It's open." Like, it's open.
You're like, they're shocked because they expect, in a few months. It's like, no, we're open already.
It's open already, and people were like, "What?" and everything. But we had to do what we had to do. I know that sometimes, you know, it's gonna happen, but I know for the most part, you get a build out, like you said, and you get time, and landlords are pretty lenient and understanding. But here was like, nope.
It was different.
I mean, the whole situation was just crazy, and it was like, pay rent on the first. If you want to close, that's up to you, but the bills are still coming, and I'm glad that we made that, and we didn't close down because we did get to keep a good amount of members that are just phenomenal MTKG part of the family now, and I'm glad that we didn't do that because you never know. You know what I mean?
And, you know, I want to give a shout out to Coach Ed, too, because in that whole chaotic transition, I found another coach, you know, and who would have thought, right? Taking over another business, another gym, I was going to find someone that fit our culture. He's got a great, if you guys haven't taken Coach Ed's class, guys, shout out to Coach Ed, you know, definitely take one of his classes. He's great energy, great human being. He just totally fits our culture really well. So if you guys haven't checked out Coach Ed yet, guys, he's at both locations, Glendale and NoHo.
Yeah.
Hope you're listening, Coach Ed.
You subscribe, bro? Right? Hope he is. I think he is. But another thing that we're having that a lot of people don't know is that, you know, even though we've been open, obviously, through everything, we're going to have a grand opening.
Absolutely.
We're going to have a cutting of the ribbon. We're just waiting for some final touches of things that we're doing, and then we'll invite everybody, and it's going to be a huge thing.
Big celebration.
We'll have, you know, like little gourmets, like healthy stuff. I'll let you choose it, you know, but like carrot sticks, I don't know, whatever, you know, but and we're going to have that. And I think it's just, it'll allow us to just let everybody know and just kind of like experience this joy of happiness, because even though it's a lot of work, I mean, we genuinely do it for them. You know what I mean? We want to bring this to the community, and this is a different, you know, like this is a different atmosphere, different environment, a different, even though we're not too far, it's still, we have people that are dedicated to NoHo, and that's their home gym. We're having people that are they're come here and like, this is their home gym. But at the end of the day, like the mission and what we stand for is the same wherever we're at. Absolutely. And I think as long as we don't lose that, and I think we've had that conversation between me, you, and the team, that our mission for Muay Thai for the masses, as long as we stick to that and we're loyal to that, like it doesn't matter what we'll go. And it's kind of like what makes restaurants successful, right? Like, you know what a Big Mac tastes here than it tastes over there. And that's because their system and procedures and the things that they do are all the same. And that's kind of like what we want to do for MTK. We want to make sure that it doesn't matter what gym you go to or you do a drop-in, you know?
I'm going to cut you right there. I'm going to just say that we're already doing it. I don't see us stopping. It's just who we are as people, and you can't change your character. You know what I mean? Like, we do this because that's who we are. Yeah. That's always been my dream. MTK from 1994 has always been this way. We just have a bigger community now, and that's what I love. And I'm excited to bring MTK to the city of Glendale, to the neighboring cities, so we can share the beauty of Muay Thai training, of what it does for individuals. Whether you want to be a competitive fighter or not, the beauty. I was actually having, we're going to be touching base on the fights in just a moment, but I was talking to some of the coaches. They were congratulating me on the second location, and I was just sharing my mission with them. Just saying, I was like, you guys all know Muay Thai has been so beneficial to our lives, and I just want to share that with like everyone. You don't necessarily have to be a competitive fighter. I want to show you the beauty of what Muay Thai training does for someone. And they're like, man, that's what's up. And they were like, handshaking. They're like, that's really cool, man. So it's like, it's cool to see the support from other gym owners that have known me since I was young, people that have gotten to know me through the fighting career, and them just showing us great respect and just happy for us genuinely. I thought that was really cool. Yeah. But yeah, man.
I like that. And honestly, I want to go ahead and start talking about like our, this week's fight, but I wanted to talk about like because this is the second time I helped you corner. I know that I've cornered you even when you fought back then, but it was different back then. I feel like I was super young and naive, and like I didn't really understand, and my mind wasn't there. But like I want to talk about like the back, what is it called, the dressing room the dressing room. Like it's so crazy to me that like there's cats there that have fought each other and that have either won or lost or been beaten by somebody there, but it's the brotherhood in there is crazy, right, Paul? Like I forgot the gentleman's name who fought one of our guys.
Cameron.
And it's like, but it's like, yo, bro, like go kill it, go out there, and you know that guy might be a competitor in 2 months or whatever, but like the respect. Like I look at that and I'm just like, this is what it's about. You know what I mean? You know, people think like, oh yeah, fuck you, this and that, and it's like this. But the reality is like, there's so much respect back there, and it's just like, wow, dude.
And I love that you pointed that out, because that's what makes Muay Thai different, either from the competitive sport of it or to just training itself. It makes you appreciate, and you're grateful, and you understand like, it's only business in there. It's nothing personal when you're fighting, and you're a gentleman inside and outside of the ring, you know, and that's why you go to any Muay Thai show. That's why there's no fights happening in the audience. But you go to boxing matches, there's fights that erupt while a title match is going on, you know, MMA fights, same thing. People are getting fights in the stands. But you know, when you go to a Muay Thai show, it's all respect, it's all love, because at the end of the day, it's like they understand it's a test to yourself when you're in that ring. You're not necessarily going against someone else, you're going against yourself. Can I be better than the last time that I performed up there in the ring? You know what I mean? So I love that you noticed that. It's true, it's very true. Muay Thai practitioners are just different. It's a martial art, and martial arts teach you respect. It teaches you discipline and respect for others.
And you know, it's funny too that it wasn't only that I noticed it. It wasn't just the fighters, but I noticed like all these people coming up to you or you going up to them, they're like gym owners, and just this sense of respect. And then on top of that, are they called the commissioners, the IKF? What are they called? Okay, even them, like everybody knows each other. Everybody like respects each other. And then when you have like, when they do the meeting, like when they talk about the rules and everything, like they just tell you and they remind you like, hey, in that ring, out of that ring, it's, you know what I mean? It's all class, it's respect, it's this and that. But what's also great is that when you're in the ring and you pay attention to the commissioners and you pay attention to our corner and you pay attention to the other person, it's like at that moment is all balls in. Like you're going to fight, and then the coaches are not taking, the refs are not taking sides, and like, you know what I mean? But it's cool. It's crazy because an hour before you have a great conversation, but they keep it professional. Everybody keeps it professional, but at the same time, you're there to kick ass. And like, it's pretty phenomenal to see that, just because it just shows class. You know what I mean? And it's cool. It's something I don't know. I've never heard people talk about it, and I just thought it came to me right now, and I was just like very impressed by that, because I was a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you, being back there, and I didn't know if like, or do you dog the other team? But no, bro. It's like, hey, we're cool, respect. Everything. And then when you go in there, you put a show. And then when you come out, hey, bro, it was great. Nice seeing you. Cool. Let's do it again. So
absolutely.
But that was good.
Yeah, man, for sure.
So really quick, I know that we're going to have Martin and David on in the next couple of episodes to kind of talk about a recap of their fights and everything. But in a just very generic, very overall, like real quick, what'd you think of how everything went down and the experience of it all?
So that night we went 1-1. We had 1 win, 1 loss. And I always tell my fighters, especially this fight camp coming in, everything you do is muscle memory, right? It's very important that like when you train, how you hit pads, how you spar, how you hit the heavy bag, how you shadow box, how you spar, all that stuff is going to play into how you fight. Every little habit, every little move, everything you do, it's muscle memory that you're building, right? And that night was a great example of that for both fighters. One saw like we didn't get the result we wanted. It is what it is, but it was a great learning lesson. And, we'll talk more about that, when we have them back on the show. And then we had another result where we got the win, but I still, I still wasn't as satisfied. We got the win, but I was like, man, I got to help him work on more things. So that way, when we fight these styles again, he's not going to have more of he won't have any issue with it. And that's what I love. And my fighters do love my honesty with them. I don't hold anything back. I don't hold punches. I say things that need to be said when it needs to be said. And they both appreciate that. I can be real with them, but I've always been real with my fighters. I've never cookie or sugar-coated anything. I tell them how it is.
That's cool. And I want to tap into that. You said muscle memory, right? Yes. Like whatever techniques you're looking at, either block, punch, or counter, whatever it is. Now you being a businessman and really knowing the mechanics of it ever since me and you came on board, it's kind of the same, right? The muscle memory.
Absolutely.
And I can say from my mentorship towards you, there's been times where your muscle memory hasn't been the greatest.
That's right.
And I love that you admit it and you hone it in and you take your take ownership of it. Mm-hmm. How much different do you think it is, or do you think it I mean, obviously it's a physical and a mental thing, but can you tell me in your own experience now that you're in the business side and the fighting side, how in your personal life it's kind of shaped you?
It's identical. Let me just say it's identical in how you approach it. And that's one thing that I feel has helped me, because I've been an athlete my whole life. I competed Muay Thai for 14 years. So I've always had people in my ear telling me, you forgot to do this, you forgot to do that, you better go work on it. That was always my mindset. I knew I was gonna mess up in something. So, shout out to my mom. She was always the one that was never happy with my performance. Even if I won by knockout, she'd be like, well, you didn't do this. You didn't do that. Your guard was down. Why? You know what I mean? So she helped keep me sharp. She was always looking for things I could work on, and just having to put the reps in. And that same thing with business. I had a lot of bad habits I didn't even know existed until you brought it out to me. And so just like a fighter, I got to put the reps in. I got to practice. I'm still going to mess up. You're going to have to keep reminding me, right? And I'm like, yes, buddy. Okay, I'm on it, right? And maybe it takes me a month. Maybe it takes me 2 months. Maybe it takes me a year. But it's that constant repetition that a lot of people don't understand. That's why as a coach, as training fighters, I understand the fighters aren't going to get it right away. So I have to keep reminding them every time I see them. And that's why it's important that they come every day, giving me at least 6 days a week so I can keep reiterating those habits. I need you to fix this. I need you to fix this. I need you to fix this. And eventually I know they're going to have that light bulb effect where, it makes sense. It's like, click. Oh, shoot, I understand what he's saying. And then they're able to implement it. And it's just a matter of just being patient and just constantly reminding them. And it's completely identical. I can say that right now. It's completely identical from what I need to do in business, what I need to do for training fighters, or when I used to fight. It's the same exact thing. Taking that into my personal relationship, it's the same exact thing. I got to put the reps in every single day, and I can't stop.
That's cool. Yeah, I agree. But do you think also as a coach, and because there comes a point where you're just okay, they're just not getting it, or okay, I gotta cut it, because I know myself, in mentorship and everything, there's just okay, you don't want it as bad as you do. You say you want it. You know what I mean? Because I think in business, everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to make money. I think you could ask the most laziest person, hey, do you want to be rich? I don't think anybody's really going to tell you no. You know what I mean? Whether you're willing to put the work, and even if you start putting in the work, are you willing to pivot, outlast, outperform, get better, be coachable, and then move forward and kind of just really grow from it? You know what I mean? I can tell you from me, there comes a point where there is a tipping point where I say, hey, you know what? I'm done. I can't. It's because it's a lot of energy. You know what I mean? It's a lot of energy mentoring people, whether you're a coach, you're a teacher, and anything. But it's also very refreshing in a sense when you see what you worked on, or what you said to somebody, or when they take action, or whatever it might be. And I'm talking both business and fighting. That also gives that mentor, that coach, fuck yeah. Let's do it again.
Yes.
Because it's tiring for everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's also exhausting for a coach when you're just what the fuck, dude? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Do you have that? Do you have that breaking point where you're just I'm done. I'm not doing this no more?
Oh, yeah. I think every coach, and shout out to all the coaches that are patient with their people. But yeah, it comes to a point where you're we understand everyone has a different learning curve, but we want to see, are you trying to fix the things that we're talking about? We don't expect you to do it right every time, but we want to see progress. We want to see you emphasizing the changes that we're trying to correct you in. And if we see that, there's hope.
Yeah.
But if we don't see it, of course, there's a point in time where it's like, I will refuse fighters. No, you're not fighting. You're not fighting under me, that's for sure, until you fix that. So absolutely, because I take huge pride in my name. People that know me in this community, I'm very well respected, and I think they understand that they see what they see is what they get. I'm not fake. I'm who I am all the time, and people respect that, and they know throughout the years when I've produced fighters, they understand like, no, Crew Neil really puts time into these guys, and it's that respect thing, and I will not let people fight if they're not fixing. That's why it takes time for me to put fighters on. Some people, I've said it in other episodes, but some people just aren't patient enough and they want to go leave me to go to another gym. But guaranteed 100% of the time, they always lose on the things I told them to work on. Always. Their opponent always takes advantage of the things I told them to work on. And some people stay with me, and then when they do get to fight, they appreciate, because now they see, dang, Crew was right. Man, if I would have rushed in it, I would have not have been ready.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I will make that decision when I feel that it's just I'm not seeing progress. There's no point in you getting up there, because at the end of the day, they're also representing themselves. Why do I want them to represent themselves in that manner, right?
Yeah.
I want everyone to win.
Yeah.
And sometimes people think too, like, I want to go back to like you saying being rich. Sometimes being rich is different to certain people, right? Sometimes being rich is not necessarily about money. It could also be about having an awesome family, like building a family, having children, being able to take care of their family, being able to provide for multiple people, and that's being rich to them, right? So, it's just, you got to put the reps in.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to put the work in. And you just can't stop. You just got to keep moving. You got to keep growing. And I want to touch base too. I keep hearing these things. Just show up. You can't just show up. You have to show up with intent. You know what I mean? You have to be coming in. Okay, I'm coming into today, whatever it is that you do in life. You have to come in with intent, but you got to be like, I got to be better today than yesterday. I can't just show up. A fighter can't just show up and train and not give me any type of advancement from yesterday's training. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure you can agree with me on that. You got to show up, not just show up, but show up with intention.
Yeah. And it's funny. I watched the Arnold documentary yesterday.
I want to see that.
Oh, shit. If anybody hasn't watched it, I even called Kim. I was like, yo, Kim, get your shit together. Like I was just so inspired. Yeah. And it goes back to like showing up. And it was like his intent of what. Have you seen it, Paul? Fuck, yeah, dude.
I want to see it.
You guys gotta watch it. Like, probably one of the most inspirational documentaries I've ever seen, just because you see the good, the bad, and the ugly, but just the vision and the determination of this man, of what he's done, is just fucking phenomenal. But I was telling Kim, listen, there's people that will watch that and they'll get inspired, right? It's kind of like watching The Pursuit to Happiness. There are people like, oh my God, like, yeah, I'm so inspired, right? And then there's people who have vision and who are like determined, who see that same movie differently. And I feel like that's just how I look at things. You know what I mean? I don't look at it and be like, oh my God, I'm inspired. Like, I look at it and I understand. And I'm like, my takeaway from that man was purpose and vision. And that's what he talks about. And he fucking says it over and over and over again. But it's just like, it gives me clarity to be like, when I feel tired, I feel like, fuck, we're never going to get to this third location, fifth location, this location, everything that I got going on. But I'm like, I'm on the right track. I'm on the right track, because every morning I wake up with purpose. Yeah. Every morning I give it my all. Every morning, whether me and you have an argument, I'm like, I still need to ask him where he's at, hold him accountable. And it's like, I'm doing the right thing because I care for you. I care for Kim. I care for all of us. And I'm like, I care for our mission of what we're doing. And I'm like, because sometimes like a coach who continues to train and doesn't see progress, or sees progress, but sometimes it's a little bit slow. It's okay if it's slow, as long as you're moving in the right direction. And it's just, I recommend it to anybody. It It was a really good documentary,
Yeah.
guys. Really good, man.
Yeah.
I
love
loved
that.
it. I woke up and I was like, let's fucking deadlift, you know? Which my back is killing me right now. Thanks, Mel.
But you know what? Speaking of deadlifts, I wanted to give you a shout out too, because I know recently you just you downloaded an app. What is that app called? My
Fitness Pal?
Yeah.
Yeah, My Fitness
Yeah,
Pal.
and I just wanted to clarify that. I'm really proud of you, man.
Thank you.
I know eating has been your number one issue, and just like a mentor or a coach, eventually you have to just kind of let them on your own time. You're eventually going to grasp it. I will put my 2 cents here and there. I think we were just joking around before this podcast started, but it is like a parent effect, right? You're just like, whatever, buddy. Like, you hear me, but you don't really hear me until someone else says it, and then you're like, oh shoot, that's what my buddy tells me all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you
And then
let
it
people know
slowly-
what the parent effect is? Because most people won't know.
The parent effect is basically like, how a parent, right, will consistently repeat themselves. Hey, hey son, don't touch the stove because it's hot, right? And the son still wants to keep touching it. And then another person comes in, says the exact same thing, but maybe rewords it a little different. Hey son, you shouldn't touch that stove because it's so hot that fire will burn you. And when it burns you, you might lose a finger. You might, and then the way that it hits it, it's like, oh, okay, I understand. That son never touches the stove again. So that's what the parent effect is. Sometimes they hear it from someone, the same person over and over. They don't really process it the way they need to, but hearing it from someone else, it hits different.
Yeah.
So that's what the parent effect is.
Definitely. And it's funny because you've been doing these sit downs, the nutrition meetings, and like, just because I never did it, right? And I've always had like an eating problem, and I used to. Here's the funny part. I used to think I didn't like doing exercise, but it wasn't that, and I just realized that it was that I just didn't like exercise because I didn't see progress. And I didn't see progress because I couldn't be disciplined of controlling my eating or really understanding. Like, I never even knew. People always say, eat clean, eat clean. Well, what does that mean? You know what I mean? But when you start surrounding yourself with individuals, and like the way I had to get, a trainer and, my personal trainer, I was like, okay, everybody around me who's successful in business, like these people are genuinely like all jacked and like they love working out and it's a priority to them. And I knew one thing about me is I knew like, okay, that's my weakness. I need to get somebody who's going to coach me to push me beyond that. But now more knowing the science of it and like going back to the app and knowing what I'm consuming and what's good for me and what's not, and just kind of getting like a little bit of like mentorship or people telling me like, this is good, now that's, you tend to like now because you understand it, and it's crazy because the process tends to start working faster in your favor. And that's kind of what I'm seeing now, as opposed to spinning my wheels, right? Because there's people that work out, but you tell that to people all the time.
Every day.
And I ask you, like, can you tell when somebody comes to the gym and they're not eating, like why they still look the same and the why they burned out? And it's like, I get it.
Yeah.
Because that eating habit is just it's gonna overpower no matter how much you work out. And it's like, because now that I look at it and I count my macros and everything, and it's like, whoa, like we really don't need that much amount of food. Mm-hmm. We just need the right foods at the right time.
Yeah.
And that's it, And at first I was like, my body to adjust it was kind of like, oh, I was starving. And I was telling Kim like, oh shoot. And now I realize that my body's like, okay, as long as I'm feeding it when I'm supposed to, that thing's been running like, okay, good. And I told her like, I dropped down and like, whatever, it's been a week and a half, like to 170. I can't recall the last time I was 177. Like, but I've been stuck at 180, 179 for the last 2 months. Mm-hmm. And I just did this adjustment. I didn't stop eating. I didn't starve myself. I'm not doing the fasting. I didn't do any of that. I just was like, let me simplify it. Let me just do this and just eat clean. You know what I mean? And eat when I'm supposed to. And it's just been like, you know what I mean? And I don't know. Now it's like, I'm realizing that I like working out, and I like working out because I like what it's doing to me and how I feel. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just wanted to tell you that sometimes it happens. Sometimes we hear it somewhere else, and it's you tend to be like, motherfucker, I told you. But like,
that's what I say to myself every day. Motherfucker, I told you.
You know what I mean? And it's, but it's crazy because I'm sure there's a part of you where at least you're happy that you're like, fuck it, at least, okay, it's not me, but at least he's in the right direction now and he's going the right way. Because when you love people, man, there's nothing more that you want them to succeed and to be like, to come up with you. You know what I mean? It might not be in the same level, but you want, I think as human beings, that's what we're meant to. Like, you want to help people. And some people just dude. They don't want the help, or they fucking, you know, there's that, they'll drag your ass down. You know what I mean? And you got to be careful with those. But when you see somebody that genuinely wants it, but they're not it's not clicking to them, and they get it from somewhere else, you're just like, all right, fuck it. At least he's in the right direction. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
But it's been great, man. It's been a good game changer. So I definitely recommend that app. That shit works good though, dude. Like now I know why you have your like students give you a log, because it makes you mindful of everything. Because as opposed you be like, because I'm thinking back, and then it's funny because I think back on what you said, and you were like, I don't remember what it was, but every time you would see me eating something bad, you'd be like, see, that's why you're not at your goal. And it's because when you're more like, okay, because that thing has everything, right? So I was like, tender greens, chicken salad with no dressing, and it tells me like, all right, this is what you got, this is what you got left. So it makes you more mindful of your decisions, as opposed to like before I would be like, all right, well, I will get an In-N-Out, no fries, no drink, but you're still consuming
a lot
400 and something plus like I don't know how many grams of fat, and it's like it tells you like, and it'll give you two things. It'll tell you this is really high in fat, or it'll tell you, hey, you made a great decision. This is really good and high in protein, or something like that. Which I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's pretty cool. I don't know. Yeah. Great. And then like the technology of it, like if I have a protein bar or anything, you just scan the barcode and it fills everything in for you. Yeah. And then if you also go to eat something, I'll tell you, are you eating the whole bar, half the bar, a quarter of it?
You know what? That makes me think, because we were talking about it at the weekend of the fight. Do you think we could call that company and see, hey, we own a gym and we would like, and maybe that could be an add-on to the platinum package, you know, if you pay platinum, or if you do diamond package, you get a free subscription to MyFitnessPal. Yeah.
Or I think for sure they'd probably do like either like a discount rate or something like that. I think that's the route we would go, because they'd be like, well, how many members you got? Yeah. You know what I mean? But I think if we said, hey, do you guys have a QR code or something you guys can give us? And every member that we have, you know, we'll have them use your app. Because, bro, for you, it'd be
so easy.
Nobody's writing shit down. You know what I mean? And it's like, it would save you so much, bro. You'd go on your Zoom and you'd probably log in and you'd be like, all right, let me look at your thing. Okay, I see this. You're doing great. You know what I mean? And it's funny because every time I close out at the end, after I'm done logging in, and it says, are you done with all your meals and everything? And I say, I submit it, and it says, Edwin, if you stay on this route in the next 5 weeks, if you keep up like this, you're going to be at 165. This is what your body should be turning into, like blah, blah, blah. And be like,
people need to hear that stuff.
And then that's funny because yesterday we had a barbecue and I inputted everything. Like, hey, I eat carne asada, tortillas. But I didn't want to cheat it. And they told me, like, if you stay on this route, you're going to be at 178 in 5 weeks. And I was like, fuck, all right. Like, you know, let me cleanse. And then I talked to Mel, my trainer, and I said, hey, this is where I'm at. And she's like, oh, because she has access to my thing. She's like, don't worry about it. She's like, I see that you had a lot of carbs. You're going to need this for today's workout. And we just fucking hit deadlifts and all kinds of shit. And she's like, all right. And then she gave me her own meal plan. And she's like, this is what I want you to eat. And she told me like 2 eggs, 1 egg white, like oatmeal. And then she's like, you need to get this from Amazon to measure your stuff. And she's like, just if you could get this shit down, be like, with you working out with me and how I see you work out on your own, everything. But like, it was a quote that I saw and I forgot what it was, but it said, your workouts will never outwork your food intake or some shit like that. And I always think of you. And it's like the parent effect. Like whenever I hear certain shit, I'm like, like my buddy tells me this, but like, you know, it's funny. It's like, you're always like, just control your eating and like, just keep working out. And then everything is like, trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. But it's good. I just feel like the fact that you're, I don't know, just knowing what you're consuming inside your body, fucking mentally, it's changed my mind. Yeah. It's changed my mind. Even Kim, I sent her everything and she's like, okay, so now she ordered meals from what is it? Whole Foods, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna go based off of this. I plan this, so it'll get delivered today and all that. So, and it's I know that we're gonna see what we can do for our members with that, because I see you sitting down and do you see that like when people give you the intake on like this is what I've been eating and all that? And before you answer that, do you see when they give you that and you're like, you're bullshitting me, because based off what you're telling me you're eating and where you're at, it's not matching up.
There's honestly a lot of times, believe it or not, their food log is not nowhere near what I told them to do. And that's why they're not seeing results. They're pretty good at like being honest with me, because I tell them, I was like, there's no judgment here. You got to be honest with me. If you're honest with me, I can give you more guidance and I can help you more. So my members, when they sit with me, they just tell me, crew, I messed up. Like this week has been horrible. And then I ask more questions like what happened. So I just help them shift and make changes. But it's funny how sometimes I literally tell people, I need you to eat like this, okay? On these days, I need you to eat this, this, and this, and this. And they're like, okay. And then when we do a sit down again, they did not follow it. And I'm like, I'm like, hey, come on, man. Like, you know, I gave you literally instructions, just follow it. And you couldn't even do it for a week. I'm like, so you got to, and I tell them, you got to get your mind right. Because at this point, you're just running on a treadmill. You're not getting anywhere, you know? Yeah. So it's just, I just know they're not ready yet mentally. They're not strong enough mentally. They're not sick and tired of being sick and tired. Yeah. They're not there yet. Yeah. So until they get there, that's when change will really happen. And I think that's kind of what happened with you. Yeah. Like we've known each other for years, and I've always said that to you. And I think you just got to a point in your life where you're like, dude, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm going to make change now. And I mean, look how many months it's been over a year that you've been like consistent with working out. Yeah. Since I've known you, you've never been that consistent ever in working out. Yeah. And now you're working on the eating. So good job, man.
Yeah. And another thing that I did change my that I work on and I try to catch myself is saying, hey, I'm doing it, but I hate working out, because I'm reinforcing that like, hey, I'm forcing myself to do something as opposed to liking it. And that's kind of why I said, like, it was never that I hated. It's just that I didn't see results. So I went to be like, oh, this shit doesn't work. You know what I mean? But now it's like, actually, I like working out. I like the way I look. I like the way my clothes feels. I like the way my girl compliments me. I like that. Mm-hmm. But I like knowing what got me there is the A, B, and C. You know what I mean? And
you got to do it every day.
And you got to do it. It's got to be a lifestyle.
That's right.
My question to you is, because we all have this, and I'm sure you've had your days where you might eat something that you normally wouldn't eat. I'm sure for you it's mindset. What would you tell somebody, like for example, myself, like I had for Father's Day, we had a barbecue. I overate more than I should have, but I had that that guilt, which is not good, right? Like you just, I mean, it's not good in a sense, like to tell your mind, like, because most people will be like, well, fuck it, I already messed up. I might as well eat bad forever. Yeah. I mean, continue to eat bad. Yeah. What do you say to somebody who has that moment where like they end up eating something bad?
First off, don't focus on the negative. Own it. Say, man, I messed up yesterday, but moving forward, Monday, I'm going to get back on it. So if I ate really bad on Sunday, stop focusing on Sunday. Sunday's gone. Today's Monday. What are you going to do now for Monday to get you back on track? We all get off track. I don't care what profession you're in, what you're doing, you're eating, you're going to get off track at some point, but don't focus on that. Acknowledge it, own the mistake, and then get back on track. That's it. Don't look. The only time you want to look backwards is you want to see how far you've come. That's it. Don't keep looking forward. Okay. That would be the best advice I would give someone.
Okay. I like that, because that's one thing that this morning I was just like, man, I felt heavy and everything. And then I just, confessed to my trainer, and I was just like, hey, this was where I was at. And she was like, don't worry about it. Right. Like, she's like, I think they're carbohydrates, the ones that give you energy. She's like, those are carbohydrates that we're going to burn right now, especially you needed them, So like, and then she has access to my app, and we just went at it hard, and I feel great. And I'm just like, all right, let me just move forward. And that's it.
And she just reiterated what I was saying, like, don't focus on, she didn't focus on yesterday. She was like, all right, cool. She turned it into a positive. Let's move forward. All right, you're going to need that for your workout today. And you're like, okay, cool. You get out of that mindset, you get out of that weird funk, and now you're back on it. And now today, look at you. You're back on your eating again. You've worked out already. You're back on track. And that's what it's all about. We're going to mess up. We're going to make mistakes. Own it, right? Take extreme ownership in it. Great book, by the way. What's the other? Jocko Willink?
Yeah.
That's a great book, guys. If anyone wants to check that out, Extreme Ownership. It just teaches you no matter what you do in life, take extreme ownership in it, because when you do that, you're able to grow from it and move forward and just be a better human being and just a better version of yourself.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Well, I know, I think we'll close out here just for the simple fact that we have great things that we would love to talk about, but we want to bring those individuals, and we'll talk about it in the next couple podcasts and all that. But I am looking forward to our grand opening. I know that we got that coming up soon. I know that we have Magic Mountain coming up, which is just part of our culture and what we do.
It's a yearly thing that we do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's going to be cool. Make sure that you get Jen on every goddamn ride.
Yeah, Jen, you hear this? Jen,
every ride, no matter
Jen.
what. But it's going to be fun, man.
Yeah, man.
Anything else you want to tap into?
No, man. That's it, man.
Cool.
I'm excited though, but yeah. You want to close us out today?
Yeah, I feel that I'm a professional at it. So,
all right, let's get it.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much. I hope
Cut. No, just kidding.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us today in today's podcast. I think it was great, man. I think it was a lot of cool little things that in our day-to-day lives and the things that we struggle. You know what I mean? Because it seems great, but we all go through this, and I think it was great just to share like my struggles and your struggles, which are small, but those little small ones are the ones that gives you big wins, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you once again for Thank you once again for Neil, you go, bro.
All right, man, I got you. Guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Muay Thai Save Me. Guys, if you like this episode, don't forget, or any other content that we put out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, okay? And stay tuned for next week's episode. You don't want to miss it.